Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because what went down in Travis Hunter's very first NFL game is something no one saw coming. The Jacksonville Jaguars didn't just defeat the Carolina Panthers, they absolutely destroyed them. But it wasn't just about the scoreboard. It was about the chaos, the emotions, and the shocking drama that unfolded both on and off the field. Travis Hunter, the rookie phenom everyone's been waiting to see, finally stepped into the spotlight, and instead of a quiet debut, he became the center of a whirlwind storm that had fans screaming, coaches panicking, and even family members taking sides. From jaw-dropping plays to controversial moments that sparked heated arguments, this wasn't just a football game. It was a full-blown spectacle, and just when the dust started to settle, cameras caught something nobody expected: a surprise sighting of Jimmy Horn Jr. lurking in the stands, adding fuel to rumors of hidden tensions, secret alliances, and a rivalry that could rip friendships apart. Emotions ran high. Fans were stunned. And behind the scenes, whispers of betrayal and confrontation painted a picture far darker than anyone imagined. What really happened during Travis Hunter's debut? Let's dive in. The opening whistle blew and the atmosphere inside the stadium was electric, but nobody could have predicted the kind of drama that would soon unfold. Fans weren't just there for football, they were there for a show, and Travis Hunter gave them exactly that. On his very first snap, he sprinted down the field with a speed that had jaws dropping, leaving Panthers defenders scrambling and fans screaming. It wasn't just a rookie debut, it felt like the birth of a new football legend. But as the cheers rang out, you could almost feel the tension brewing in the background. On the Jaguars sideline, teammates exchanged looks that said more than words ever could. Some were excited, some nervous, and a few seemed almost resentful that a rookie was stealing all the attention. Whispers started spreading fast, players muttering under their breath, "Man, they acting like he the only star we got." It was clear not everyone was ready to celebrate Travis's big moment. But Travis wasn't just battling the Panthers' defense. He was battling expectations, pressure, and even silent criticism from within his own locker room. His family sat in, the stands visibly anxious. His mother clutched her hands together, whispering prayers, while his father stared intensely at the field as though trying to will his son to succeed. The family knew what this moment meant: years of sacrifice, long nights, and countless doubts all boiling down to this one game. And that's when the camera suddenly caught sight of a familiar figure in the crowd, Jimmy Horn Jr., the broadcast zoomed in, and fans went wild online. "What's Jimmy doing there?" One fan tweeted, while another wrote, "Something's up, this is no coincidence." The stadium buzzed with speculation. Jimmy Horn Jr. and Travis Hunter had always been close, almost like brothers, but rumors of tension between them had circulated for months. Seeing Jimmy show up unannounced only added fuel to the fire as the game pressed on. Travis made play after play, his confidence growing with each snap. Yet the more he excelled, the more frustrated the Panthers' defense became. By the second quarter, you could see emotions boiling over. Panthers players were shoving, talking trash, and targeting Travis with extra aggression. At one point after a particularly vicious tackle, a Panthers linebacker stood over him and barked, "Welcome to the NFL, rookie." Travis got up slowly, brushed himself off, and smirked, which only enraged them further. But it wasn't just the Panthers who were losing their cool. On the Jaguars sideline, a heated argument broke out between two veteran players who felt overshadowed by the hype surrounding Travis. One shouted, "We've been carrying this team for years, and now it's all about him." Another fired back, "Then step up and make plays. Don't be mad at the kid." Coaches had to intervene, but the damage was done. The team was slowly fracturing, and the rookie was at the center of it. Meanwhile, in the stands, fans noticed Jimmy Horn Jr. wasn't sitting quietly. He was pacing, talking on his phone, and at one point he appeared to argue with someone sitting beside him. One fan swore they saw him gesture angrily toward the field after Travis's touchdown catch. Speculation spread like wildfire. Was Jimmy jealous? Was he there to support Travis or to send a message? The tension spilled into halftime. As the teams retreated to their locker rooms, cameras caught Jaguars players exchanging heated words. One insider later revealed it was chaos in there. Guys were yelling, some saying Travis was too cocky, others saying everyone needed to rally behind him. Even the coaches looked shaken. Travis sat quietly in his corner, headphones on, trying to drown out the noise. But inside, his heart was racing. He knew eyes were on him, not just from the stadium, but from millions watching at home. And he couldn't ignore the fact that Jimmy was somewhere out there, watching his every move. When the second half began, the drama only escalated. On a crucial play, Travis caught a pass and broke free down the sideline, but just as he was about to score again, a Panthers defender shoved him hard out of bounds. Travis tumbled, crashing into the Jaguars bench, nearly taking out one of the assistant coaches. Gasps echoed through the stadium. His mother buried her face in her hands, and even Jimmy stood up abruptly, eyes locked on Travis as if ready to storm the field. Trainers rushed to check on him, but Travis pushed them away and stood tall. The crowd erupted, chanting his name. And yet the drama only deepened. Panthers players celebrated the hit, taunting the Jaguars sideline, while Jaguars veterans continued to argue about whether Travis was putting the team at risk with his flashy style. "He too reckless," one player muttered. Another countered, "Nah, he fearless." That's what we need. The divide within the team was growing, and it was impossible to ignore then. As the third quarter wound down, the cameras returned to Jimmy Horn Jr. He was no longer in his seat. Reports later claimed he'd been spotted near the players' tunnel, talking animatedly with someone close to the Jaguars staff. Nobody knew exactly what was said, but fans watching at home began speculating that Jimmy was trying to insert himself into the drama, maybe even planning a shocking confrontation. By the end of the third quarter, the Jaguars were dominating the Panthers on the scoreboard, but emotionally, the night was spiraling out of control. Fans in the stands were divided, half cheering for Travis's brilliance, half whispering about the visible cracks in the team's unity. And hanging over it all was the mysterious presence of Jimmy Horn Jr., whose motives remained unclear. As the fourth quarter began, it felt like the game was no longer about football at all. It was about loyalty, jealousy, pride, and betrayal. Would the Jaguars rally together around their rookie star, or would the pressure tear them apart? And what role was Jimmy about to play in all of this? Just as tension seemed unbearable, something happened on the field that would take the night to a whole new level of drama. Just as tension seemed unbearable, something happened on the field that shifted the entire energy of the stadium. The Jaguars lined up for what looked like a routine play, but as the ball snapped, chaos erupted. Travis sprinted across the middle, caught a pass in stride, and was immediately hit by two Panthers defenders at once. The collision was brutal. The crowd gasped, and for a moment, it looked like Travis might not get up. He lay there motionless, the stadium falling silent. His mother screamed from the stands, "Get up, baby, please get up." His father stood, his hands gripping the railing, so tightly his knuckles turned white. Even Jimmy Horn Jr., who had been lurking near the tunnel, froze in shock. Fans held their breath, cameras zoomed in, and commentators whispered nervously about whether this was the end of Travis's night. Then, slowly, Travis rolled onto his side and pushed himself up. The crowd erupted with deafening cheers, but his face told another story. He was in pain, and he knew it. Teammates rushed to him, but their reactions were mixed. One veteran patted him on the helmet, muttering, "That's gutsy, kid." Another shook his head, whispering under his breath, "This ain't worth it." The coaches tried to pull Travis out of the game, but he waved them off. "I'm fine," he said firmly, though his voice cracked slightly. "I can't quit now." As he returned to the huddle, some teammates rallied behind him, fired up by his determination. Others looked worried, convinced that his insistence on staying in was reckless. The Jaguars were winning, but the team chemistry was unraveling right before the world's eyes. In the stands, Jimmy Horn Jr. finally made his move. Security cameras caught him slipping past an usher and making his way down toward the Jaguars sideline. Fans watching at home began flooding social media with clips, speculating wildly. "Jimmy's about to crash the game." One post read, "This is about to get messy." Another warned. Back on the field, Travis lined up for another play. This time, he ran a sharp route, caught the ball, and spun past a defender for a huge gain. The crowd went wild again, but as he jogged back, you could see him wince, his hand clutching his ribs. The camera caught it, and instantly, commentators began speculating whether he was hiding an injury. Then came the turning point. After the play, as Travis headed toward the bench, he glanced toward the tunnel and locked eyes with Jimmy. It was Brief but intense, like two rivals silently daring each other. Fans online exploded with theories. Was that a glare? Are they beefing? Why is Jimmy even here? The drama was officially bigger than the game itself. Suddenly, a sideline scuffle broke out. Two Jaguars veterans got into each other's faces, shoving and yelling. One shouted, "We ain't no sideshow for this rookie." The other fired back, "He's winning us this game, shut your mouth." Teammates had to separate them, but not before cameras caught every heated word. The internet replayed it over and over, fueling the narrative that the Jaguars' locker room was falling apart. Meanwhile, reporters in the press box began whispering that Jimmy Horn Jr. had requested access to the Jaguars' locker room after the game. Nobody knew why, but the timing couldn't have been more suspicious. The fourth quarter dragged on with the Jaguars piling up points, but the real story was the drama surrounding Travis. His teammates alternated between celebrating him and resenting him. His family sat on edge, torn between pride and fear. And Jimmy, standing dangerously close to the sideline, looked like he was waiting for the perfect moment to make his presence felt. Then came the climax of the night. With just minutes left, Travis caught a deep pass and sprinted toward the end zone. The crowd roared, expecting another highlight, but just as he crossed the goal line, a Panthers defender slammed him to the ground from behind. Travis stayed down again, this time clutching his shoulder. Trainers rushed over and the stadium erupted in chaos. Fans booed the Panthers, players shoved each other, and the referees struggled to control the scene. In the middle of the commotion, Jimmy Horn Jr. suddenly shouted from the sideline, his voice picked up faintly by microphones. "That's enough!" Yelled, trying to break him. The cameras turned, and there he was, right at the edge of the field, his face red with anger. Security moved toward him, but he held his ground, pointing at the Panthers defenders. The moment went viral instantly. Fans online split into camps, some praising Jimmy for standing up for Travis, others accusing him of stealing the spotlight and stirring drama. The Jaguars sideline looked shaken, players glancing nervously between their injured rookie and the unexpected figure looming nearby. As trainers helped Travis off the field, the crowd chanted his name louder than ever, but the night had officially turned into a soap opera. Teammates argued, coaches scrambled, the family cried, and Jimmy Horn Jr.'s sudden outburst left everyone asking the same question: was he there as a friend or as a rival? By the final whistle, the Jaguars had destroyed the Panthers on the scoreboard, but nobody was talking about the win. All the headlines were about Travis Hunter's dramatic debut, his potential injury, the team's fractured chemistry, and the shocking appearance of Jimmy Horn Jr. But what nobody knew yet was that the real drama was only just beginning. After the game, behind closed doors, tempers would explode in ways that left the Jaguars organization scrambling to contain the fallout. After the game, behind closed doors, tempers would explode in ways that left the Jaguars organization scrambling to contain the fallout. The locker room was supposed to be a place of celebration. The Jaguars had demolished the Panthers, the scoreboard was proof, and their rookie star had electrified the entire league. But instead of laughter and champagne, the air was thick with tension. The first signs came when Travis limped into the room, shoulder wrapped in ice, his face pale but determined. Some teammates cheered him, clapping and shouting, "You did it, Rook," but others sat silently, arms crossed, glaring. One veteran finally muttered loud enough for everyone to hear, "One game and everybody acting like he Jesus." The words hung heavy and the room grew tense. Travis tried to ignore it, but then another player stood up, pointing directly at him. "You reckless man. You almost got yourself killed out there. And for what? Highlights? Spotlight? This ain't college." Before Travis could answer, a third voice cut in, "Nah, don't blame him. Blame the coaches for feeding into the hype. They set him up." Now the argument wasn't just about Travis, it was about the entire organization. Accusations flew, voices rose, and coaches struggled to regain control. In the midst of the shouting, the door suddenly opened and there he was. Jimmy Horn Jr. Gasps filled the room. Nobody expected him to walk in, especially not during such a fragile moment. His presence was like throwing gasoline on an already raging fire. Some players greeted him with nods, others shot him daggers. And Travis's eyes widened, a mixture of shock and unease. "What are you doing here?" Travis finally asked, his voice low but sharp. Jimmy smirked. "Came to check on my brother." but looks like I walked into a circus. The room erupted. Again, this time with players demanding answers. Hold up, he just walks in like he part of the team? One shouted. Another snapped, nah, this ain't right. This drama ain't what we need. Travis stood, wincing as pain shot through his shoulder. Jimmy, not now. This ain't the place. But Jimmy wasn't backing down. Oh, it's exactly the place. Everybody here talking like you reckless, like you selfish. But let's be real, none of them would survive half the pressure you under. They should be thanking you. Those words split the locker room even deeper. Some players nodded, agreeing that Travis had carried them. Others bristled, feeling attacked. One slammed his helmet on the ground, shouting, "Don't come in here disrespecting us." Coaches tried to push Jimmy out, but he waved them off. Nah, I ain't leaving till I say my piece. Y'all treating this man like he a problem, but he's the reason you embarrassing the Panthers tonight. You jealous, that's the truth. The tension boiled over when one of the veterans lunged toward Jimmy, shouting, "You don't belong here." Teammates rushed to hold him back, but chaos erupted. Shouting, shoving, accusations flying. The family members outside the locker room could hear the noise, and Travis's mother was seen pacing, tears in her eyes, whispering, "Lord, keep them safe." In the middle of it all, Travis finally snapped. Enough. His voice cracked through the chaos. Everyone froze, even Jimmy. Travis looked around the room, sweat dripping down his face, pain in his eyes. Y'all think I asked for this? You think I wanted to be the headline, the hype, the one everybody talking about? Nah, I just wanted to play. But if me doing my job tearing this team apart, then maybe I shouldn't even be here. The silence that followed was deafening. Some players lowered their heads, ashamed. Others looked away, refusing to acknowledge him. Jimmy, however, stepped closer. Don't you dare say that, Travis. You belong here more than anybody. Travis shook his head. Then why it feel like everybody against me? Nobody had an answer. Eventually, coaches forced everyone to sit down, trying to calm the storm. But the damage was already done. The night that should have been a celebration turned into a battleground of egos and emotions. Reporters outside the locker room picked up on the delay, tweeting things like, "Something's happening inside Jaguars." Locker room, and sources say heated exchange involving Travis Hunter. The drama leaked out almost instantly, and within minutes, social media was ablaze. Fans were divided. Some defended Travis, saying he was being targeted unfairly. Others claimed he was already causing distractions in his very first game. And then there was Jimmy, whose sudden appearance became the biggest mystery. Was he really there to support Travis, or was he fueling the fire? Later that night, the Jaguars organization released a brief statement, claiming everything was fine and that the team was united, but fans weren't buying it. Leaked whispers from inside painted a much darker picture. According to one anonymous source, that locker room almost exploded. If coaches didn't step in, fists would have flown. Meanwhile, Travis's family gathered outside the stadium. His mother hugged him tightly, whispering, "You don't gotta prove nothing to nobody, baby." His father stayed quiet, his face hard, clearly worried about the path ahead. But the most telling moment came when Travis and Jimmy stood face to face in the parking lot. Fans with camera phones caught the exchange, though much of it was muffled. What they did capture sent shockwaves across the internet. "Why you really here?" Travis asked, his voice tense. Jimmy hesitated, then finally answered, "Because I couldn't let you go through this alone. But if I'm being real, part of me wanted to see if you break." Travis's eyes widened, betrayal flashing across his face. "So all this? You came to test me?" Jimmy smirked faintly, though. There was pain behind it. Maybe I wanted to see if you're ready for what's coming. Because trust me, this league will eat you alive if you ain't." Before Travis could respond, security stepped in, breaking up the conversation. But the damage was done. Rumors spread that Jimmy and Travis weren't as close as everyone thought. Whispers of rivalry, jealousy, and betrayal filled the headlines. The Jaguars may have destroyed the Panthers on the field, but off the field, it was clear they were facing a storm unlike anything they'd imagined. And as the night ended, one chilling question lingered in everyone's mind. If this was just Game 1, what kind of chaos would the rest of the season bring? If this was just Game 1, what kind of chaos would the rest of the season bring? That was the question echoing in the minds of fans, players, and even the Jaguars organization as the night spiraled into something nobody could control. Travis Hunter had proven his talent on the field, but off the field, he had become the center of a drama storm bigger than the game itself. The morning after, headlines screamed across every platform. "Rookie sensation or locker room distraction?" one article asked. Another blared, "Jaguars divided after Travis Hunter's debut." And then there were the photos, grainy, blurry shots of Travis and Jimmy's late-night parking lot confrontation. Fans dissected every frame, debating whether Jimmy was protecting his friend or secretly undermining him. Inside the Jaguars facility, tension was still thick. Coaches called an emergency meeting, demanding the players put their differences aside. But even in that closed-door session, voices were raised. One veteran insisted, "This team ain't built to revolve around one rookie." Another fired back, "He's the reason we embarrassed the Panthers. Give the kid his due." Every attempt to unify only revealed deeper cracks. Travis, meanwhile, sat quietly in the corner, his shoulders still sore, his mind racing. He felt caught between worlds, his family begging him to stay grounded, his teammates pulling in different directions, and Jimmy's words from the night before replaying endlessly in his head. "Part of me wanted to see if you break." The betrayal cut deep, but the story didn't stop at the facility. Outside, fans had gathered, holding signs that read "Team Travis" and others that read "Too much drama." Even the media camped outside, waiting for someone to slip up. One reporter shouted at Travis as he walked by, "Is Jimmy Horn Jr. your biggest supporter or your biggest enemy?" Travis didn't answer, but the flash of anger in his eyes told its own story. Later that day, things took an even wilder turn. Jimmy appeared on a live stream, casually addressing the controversy. With a sly grin, he said, "People got it twisted. Me and Travis, we family. But family fights sometimes. That don't mean it ain't love." But instead of easing the tension, his words only made things worse. Fans pointed out how vague and evasive he sounded. How he never outright denied trying to test Travis. Back at home, Travis's family was split. His mother urged him to cut ties with Jimmy, saying, "Baby, you can't let no one play games with your heart and your career." His father, however, argued differently. "Iron sharpens iron. Maybe Jimmy's way of pushing you is tough love." The family was left divided, their arguments spilling into the public when a cousin posted on social media, "Not everybody around Travis want the best for him. Some folks just jealous." The Jaguars organization, desperate to contain the firestorm, scheduled a press conference. Travis stood at the podium, cameras flashing, reporters shouting questions. His voice was calm but heavy with emotion. "Look, I came here to play football. I respect my teammates, I respect this organization, and I'm grateful for the fans. But all this outside noise, all this drama, it's distracting. I can't control what people say, I can only control how I play." But then a reporter asked the question everyone wanted answered. "Travis, what's your relationship with Jimmy Horn Jr. right now?" Travis hesitated. The pause was long, uncomfortable, and every second of silence felt like fuel for speculation. Finally, he said, "That's personal." The press conference ended abruptly, and fans were left buzzing. Some applauded him for staying private, while others claimed the hesitation proved there was real tension. As if things couldn't get worse. Leaked audio surfaced later that week from inside the Jaguars locker room. In it, a voice believed to be one of the veterans could be heard saying, "He ain't even been here a month and already the team divided. If this keeps up, it's gonna ruin us." The leak spread like wildfire, and suddenly the Jaguars weren't just dealing with one scandal, they were dealing with a full-blown crisis. Travis tried to keep his focus, throwing himself into training, but everywhere he went, the questions followed. At practice, fans shouted, "Where's Jimmy?" At the grocery store, strangers whispered about the locker room chaos. Even during a family dinner, an argument broke out when a relative accused Jimmy of clout chasing. Emotions ran high, and the family was left fractured. Then came the shocking twist nobody saw coming. Days later, cameras caught Jimmy Horn Jr. arriving at the Jaguars facility not as a visitor, but reportedly for a private meeting with team officials. Rumors exploded. Was Jimmy trying to negotiate his way onto the team? Was he offering to mentor Travis, or was he stirring more trouble behind the scenes? When reporters pressed the Jaguars for answers, the team refused to comment. but insiders claimed the meeting was tense. According to one source, Jimmy said he wanted to protect Travis, but some staff felt like he was overstepping. It got heated. The revelation sent shockwaves across the league. Fans debated endlessly, was Jimmy a protective brother figure? Or a jealous rival trying to attach himself to Travis's rising star? By the end of the week, one thing was clear: the Jaguars might have destroyed the Panthers on the field. But off the field, their unity was hanging by a thread. And Travis Hunter, the rookie who was supposed to bring hope and excitement, found himself caught in the middle of a storm that threatened to swallow everything in the quiet of his home. Travis sat alone, staring at his phone, scrolling through endless messages, some of support, others of hate. His mother knocked on the door, whispering, "You okay, baby?" Travis sighed, replying softly, "I don't know if I am." And as the screen faded to black in the minds of fans following this unfolding saga, one haunting question remained. Was Travis Hunter destined to be the Jaguar savior, or would the weight of jealousy, betrayal, and drama tear everything apart before his career even began? And so, as the dust settles on Travis Hunter's unforgettable debut, we're left with more questions than answers. Yes, the Jaguars crushed the Panthers on the scoreboard, but what happened off the field painted a far darker, more complicated picture. Was Travis truly the hero the Jaguars need, or has his very presence already cracked the foundation of the team? Is Jimmy Horn Jr. a loyal friend watching over him, or a rival waiting for the perfect moment to strike? The fans are divided, the families conflicted, and even inside the Jaguars locker room, unity feels fragile at best. And the craziest part? This was just the first game. One game. If emotions ran this high, if trauma spilled over like this, imagine what the rest of the season could bring. Bigger confrontations, more betrayals, and maybe even shocking revelations that nobody sees coming. What we do know is that the story of Travis Hunter is only just beginning, and the NFL stage has never seen anything quite like it. The spotlight is burning bright, but can he handle the heat, or will the fire consume him? Now we want to hear from you. Do you think Travis is the Jaguars' future superstar, or is he already a distraction that could tear the team apart? Do you trust Jimmy Horn Jr.'s intentions, or is he secretly plotting against Travis from the shadows? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. We'll be reading every single one. Make sure you smash that like button if you were shocked by the chaos of Travis's first NFL game. And don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable stories just like this one. Hit the notification bell so you never miss the next chapter of this drama. Because if this debut was any sign of what's to come, you won't want to miss a single second.